Hello, this is Renee Hahn with William Ravis Real Estate, your Naples real estate expert. I am bringing to you the monthly Naples area market update. We're going to dive in because I am committed to trying to make this relevant but shorter so that I can keep your attention and get you on to your next task because Lord knows we all have more to do than we have time to do it. I'm going to dive into the 6 areas that we traditionally report on these market updates, starting with inventory. But before I do that, I just want to make some overarching comments about the market. Naples continues to be a great, attractive place for buyers. And because it continues to be a great place for buyers, it will continue to be a great place for sellers. Now, there is no question that we have been slowing. Some of that is typical for summer months, although the last couple of years would disprove that. We're behaving a little bit more like a traditional seasonal selling cycle, with summer slowing down a little bit. So we'll take a look at this year versus last year, as we always do. And there certainly continues to be some economic headwinds, whether it's the mortgage rates, although we continue to be a strong cash buying market, they do affect it. Whether it's inflation, which continues to be record highs for a period of time, whether it's how investments have been performing, although we've had some bright spots in the calendar as of recent, whether it's the sentiments of the election coming up and how people feel about that, because there's always a tightening down on spend on big ticket items like homes as we get closer to elections, fear of economic crash, what's going on with banking. There's certainly some hesitation, and that affects the buyers who are using discretionary spending. So if you're thinking about a second home, there's always going to be effect on those. Luckily, we tend to be somewhat balanced, even though we have a strong contingency of seasonal buyers or seasonal owners. We also have a strong market of year-round owners as well, and so they help balance each other out. So let's talk about inventory. This month, we have 2,659 homes on the market during the month of June. That's an increase of 8% year over year. It's slightly down from the month before. So if you look at last month, in the month of May, I reported 2,749 homes on the market. So we had a little bit lower inventory this month, but it's still an increase 8% month over month. Pending sales went down month over month. Last month, there were 1,036 homes that went under contract during the month. This month, we had 800. You can see it's somewhat flat to the prior year. So inventory's up, but the number of homes going under contract was only up a fraction of that amount. Median close price continues to hold pretty steady here, but I will continue to caution you on this. It's a metric that I find interesting, but because mix can always be a factor in that, if you had a large proportion of the homes that closed were just higher priced homes, it's going to skew this. So I always take this with a grain of salt. I don't necessarily see this as an indicator of appreciating value of any given home because of that mix component to it, but it's interesting information. If you look at new listings during the month of May, we had 990 new listings come on the market. During the month of June, we had 860. That's a decrease of 28%. So inventory is a little bit higher. The number of new listings coming on slowed a little bit. Closed sales was also down. So in the month of May, we had 1,013 homes that closed, whereas in June we had 837. So year over year, it was a 14% decrease, but it was also a decrease in month over month. Days on market has again stayed pretty stable. It's higher than it has been in past years. You can see it's about 163% higher than it was in June of 2022, but 50 days is not bad. Now, any given house, there are plenty of houses that I've seen on the market for much longer. I've seen things go beyond a year. That's usually a indication that it's either priced incorrectly, certainly is a factor. But I will also tell you there doesn't seem to be as much of an appetite for buyers that are willing to take on projects. So homes that are in need of work, whether it's a new roof, that's been a big factor because the insurance companies have really buckled down on the homes that they'll insure. And if the roof is close to or nearing its end of its life, insurance companies aren't going to write policies on it, and that affects buyers' interest in those properties. So there's a lot of factors that play into this. what I would share is I still think we are a vibrant market. There's certainly some upside for buyers right now. You're seeing, last year, this time, homes were selling at about 99.1% of the ask price. In the month of June, they were closing for 96.2% on average of the ask price. So you're seeing more negotiating. You might see some softening of prices, list prices in places, but certainly more giving through the negotiating process. Interesting thing, Naples continues to be an attractive place for high net individuals. It always has been, and it continues to be, which has been good for our local economy, certainly. But if you look at over the last year, we had 193 homes get sold that were over $5 million. That is, again, a nice augmentation to the rest of the market because we have and sell homes across every price point. It's nice to have that upper echelon of price that kind of insulates you and holds you steady. So I think you're going to continue to see a little slower traffic and showings. Travel has picked up this summer. European travel hit a high this summer of people that maybe were hesitant to do that in former years because of COVID and other things. So international travel certainly had an impact on it. So I think we're going to see a little bit slower traffic, both in terms of showings as well as offers. But I would not get overly concerned about it. I always say every house only needs one buyer. Now, it's nice to have more than one buyer in each house because sellers love competition. And at certain price points, certainly if you're shopping around that 600,000 mark, as an example, in a single family home, you're going to have a lot of competition. And I always feel horrible for mortgage buyers in that price point because there's just the market's full of cash buyers that are willing to come in and make really attractive deals with very few contingencies and quick closes. So you will see competition still. Even though we're slow right now, there are certain houses, certain price points, certain neighborhoods that are going to have competition, and you may occasionally see some multi-offers. But on the whole, you're not seeing that as much. People have time to look at homes, look at more than one homes, and make buying decisions. So if you want to talk about any of this further, if you want to talk about your individual home or your community and what's going on, I am always here for you. Feel free to reach out 239-287-2576, or you can find me on yournaplesexpert.com. I will always end with a plug on the website. I have some very dynamic, helpful market charts on the website that you can use and go into at any point. They're interactive and you can kind of see over a period of time. I talk about month over month and year over year in these snapshots, but you can actually see 5 years at a time what's happened with inventory, prices, closed, pendings, all of those key indicators that people like to keep a pulse on. It's always a great idea to know what's going on, as you would with any of your other investments, what's going on in the market, even if you're not thinking about buying or selling anything new anytime soon. So have a fantastic weekend. If you're in the South, stay cool. It's been record highs. And if you're anywhere else, do the same, but enjoy your summer. Thanks and have a great day.